In this video, I'm going to share with you what I consider to be the simplest way to make money online and the exact steps that you need to take in order to do that. And it's actually the system that I've been using for nearly 10 years now. And I've literally gone from broke to financially stable thanks to this system. Now I know that sounds a bit rags to riches cliche, but it's actually true. You know, when I first started doing this, I was in a terrible hole and financially I was pretty ruined and I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know what to do. I'd just seen that people were making money online and I wanted to know how they were doing that. And to begin with, possibly you've done this yourself, I went and bought all the courses. I did what they said. Nothing worked. I contacted the vendors and I said, look, I've done everything you said step by step, and that didn't work. But I was determined not to give up. And the thing is, one of the things that was driving me as well was because I had this burning desire inside of me to help other people because I didn't want anyone to be going through what I was going through. It was a tough time for me. It really was. And so I wanted to be able to find a way to make money online and then show as many people as I possibly could how to do the same. And I'm pleased to say that I've been able to do that, and it's been a fantastic journey, and I'm super blessed. But yes, I do work at this and I do work hard. Sometimes 7 days a week, but that's sometimes what you have to do, isn't it? So the easiest way to make money online is with digital products. Now, by digital products, what I mean is that could be an ebook. And if it's an ebook, for example, you can create that with a free tool, which is basically Google Docs. And you could use a free tool, a free AI tool like ChatGPT to help you create that. One of the biggest benefits about digital products is that you create it once, but you can sell it over and over and over again. And it doesn't actually cost you any money to sell it. All right, so the way that we do this is that we put it on a platform, and the platform will take care of all of the payments, etc. for us, and handle the delivery links and all that kind of stuff. So they take a percentage of the sale, which means it's not costing you anything at all. All you are literally getting is profit, which makes it so much easier than some of the other ways to make money. And trust me, I have tried quite a few ways to make money, and many of them, if not most of them, have failed. I've had my ups and downs, I've had my good times as well, but going back to how things all began, I was at college, I left college and I'd already started my first business with my brother-in-law. It was a shipping and forwarding company. And then I went off to do office furniture sales, second-hand office furniture, new office furniture. I did mail order. I had some interesting mail order businesses. For example, also had toast clocks. They were pieces of bread that apparently were hermetically sealed, so the manufacturer said. It's basically a piece of bread that had been toasted and then covered in some kind of like resin and a clock put into it. And I bought hundreds of those. I had a warehouse and I was advertising them back in the day. Like, this is in the day when you would need to advertise in a paper, and then you'd get the order come in, you get a check and say, I don't know, the check's going to be for £9.99 for argument's sake, plus £1.95 postage and packing, and you've got to go and bank that check, wait for it to clear. When it's cleared, you've got to package this thing up, put your postage on it, take it to the post office and send it off, right? There wasn't what we call a funnel, right? So these days, one of the most important things that you need to remember is when you're selling digital products, you have a funnel. So if you've got a $9.95 digital product that you sell, when people buy that, they automatically get taken to the next sales page offering them an upgrade. And that's the first part of the funnel, right? So that would be called OTO1, which stands for one time offer one. Now this makes the world of difference as well, because not only, like, you go back to the toast clock example, I've got to buy all the toast clocks in, right? So I've got to lay out all the capital, and I don't know how many I'm going to sell, and you get better prices if you buy more. I don't know how many I bought, but I think it was probably like 1,000 or something. When I think back, like, if I could go back to my younger self and say, Trev, don't do this, that would be something that I would do. But then again, it's all part of life, isn't it? It's all part of the journey that I've taken. But if I go back to that point, if you sold a toast clock, that was it. That was it. Whereas with what I do now, if I sell a $9.95 product, then, as I said, they go through to the first upgrade and typically would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe more upgrades in the funnel. And that's how you can start to automate and make more money more easily. Just going back to what I've tried in the past, aside from toast clocks, I also had bowler hat clocks. And can you believe this? I had a double page spread in a woman's magazine for Father's Day promoting my bowler hat clogs for free. And when I saw what they were doing, and they sent me through like, you know, the magazine prior to it coming out, I was like, oh my God, look at this. This is amazing. I'm going to sell so many. I better buy some more. Younger self, don't do that. I ended up with a lot of toast clocks and a lot of bowler hat clocks, and I went to Petticoat Lane Market in London to try and sell them, and I went to boot sales to try and sell them, and in the end, I sold them all off at a loss, and I learned some big lessons, and I got rid of the warehouse and I moved on to the next thing. But I've done lots and lots of things in my time, but digital products is by far the most lucrative and the easiest, and it's automated as well. So you don't have to be going to the post office and waiting for checks to clear and all that kind of stuff. Not only that, but the overheads on a digital product business are incredibly low. So if you have a laptop or a PC and you've got an internet connection, then you've got everything you need to start the business. As simple as that. So you don't need to go and buy stock. You literally create a digital product, and then, as I said, you've got it, you can sell it over and over and over again. You don't need to have anywhere to store it. So you don't need to go and sign a lease, a 5-year, 10-year lease on a warehouse that you're guaranteeing and obligated to pay regardless of how well your business does. You don't have to do anything like that. It's so much easier, so much less stress. You don't need any staff, you don't need any overheads, and you can get started literally today doing this. So if you'd like to start creating and selling digital products, then these are the steps that I recommend that you take. First of all, you need to work out what kind of niche are you going to be in, or niche, depending on how you say it. And that could be something that you're interested in. Hopefully, if you are interested, then it's going to make it more interesting for you to get involved in this business. But more importantly, it needs to be something that is in demand. So you have to make sure that people are actually going to buy the thing that you want to sell. One of the ways that you can do that is if you go to YouTube, you can start typing in whatever it is that you're going to be teaching, if you like, in your digital product. So let's say that you know how to create the best pizza dough, all right? And you are going to create a Google document on how to create the best pizza dough to make the best pizza. And you're going to put all the ingredients in and your special recipe and your special little extras, like maybe that malto stuff that I use in my pizzas. 10 grams of that makes all the difference. And you're going to put that into this document and you're going to sell it. But how do you know that it's going to sell? But if you go to YouTube and you start typing in how to make pizza dough, if you find that there are lots of videos on that and the videos have got lots and lots of views, then you know that that's something that's in demand. People are actively searching for that. So how to make pizza dough, for example, that kind of thing. Now this could be in any niche at all. It could be in health and wellness, fitness, meditation, yoga, golf, boxing, football, soccer, how to make money online, ebooks, you know, anything you like. DIY, woodworking, gardening, beekeeping, anything you like, anything that you're into or that you fancy making a digital product on. Then to start with, you can go to ChatGPT and you can just start brainstorming. So you say, look, this is the idea that I've got. I'd like to make a product that's going to show people how to create the best pizza dough, for argument's sake, all right? ChatGPT will then come back and give you lots of ideas on how you can expand on that. And I wouldn't recommend that you use ChatGPT and just copy and paste into a document and call that your product. But what I would recommend is that you use it to get ideas on what to put in your product. If you can actually write the document yourself, then that's going to be much better, because although AI is good, I think we still need that human touch. And then if you go to Canva, you can find some really decent free templates on Canva. And if you search in Canva, put ebook document, then you'll find some that come up that have, when you hover over them, it'll say 1 of 12 or 1 of 6 and stuff like that. So you'll be able to see that it's a document. That's going to give you like a front page and maybe a contents page and a content page. And you can use that to go and create a really decent looking document. You can copy and paste that into Google Docs if you want, or you can just download that as a PDF and you can upload that into your Google Drive as the storage, so you can give people access to that. And when it comes to getting sales for your digital products, I think one of the best things that you can do is create a YouTube channel in the niche that you decide that you're going to create your digital products on. Now don't worry, if you don't want to get your face on camera, you don't have to, but I do recommend that if you can, you do, because people will then get to know you. And you know, there's this whole thing about know, like and trust, that is going to come across when you're on camera, because they will get to know your little idiosyncrasies and the little things that you do and the way that you say things and do things. They'll get to know you and they will get to trust you, and then you're more likely to be able to make a sale to them later on down the line. But what I'd recommend you do is create value videos, all right? Value videos where you teach them some of the stuff that you'll be teaching inside your digital product, but you teach them that for free. And then you say to them in your video that there's a link below the video where they can go and they can get free access to maybe a cheat sheet or something like that, a recipe card or something like that. And then they will go and they'll go through to your opt-in page, and you can create your opt-in page using autoresponders like GetResponse and Aweber. They have templates for that, and basically it enables you to have a page where someone can put their name and email address in, and then you collect their name and email address. You're then building your list, right? So you'll be building your channel, you'll be building your subscribers on YouTube, and you'll be building your list. And then your list is what you can use to send people over to the sales page to sell your digital product. You also want to be thinking about that funnel. So you've got your front end product, we call it, right? That's the main product. Let's say that's $9.97. And then you've got your first upgrade. You want to think, what could I offer as the first upgrade? You know, if it's training, for example, it might be advanced training. If you're offering them an ebook as the front end, it might be a video version of that as your first upgrade. And try and think of 1 or 2 upgrades that you can put in there as well, so you can build out that intrinsic value that you've got in your offer. And then that way, you know that if someone comes in, they might spend a tenner, but they also might spend $30 on the first upgrade and $50 up on the next upgrade. And before you know it, you've got maybe $100 per person coming in from your digital product, and it all happens automatically. And that's because we're going to put it on a platform like Warrior Plus or JVZoo. Now, these platforms are designed for digital products. They're very easy and intuitive to use. And what you'll need is your product and the access to your product. So if you were using a Google Doc, for example, you can just use the share link to your Google Doc. Or you could make a new Google Doc and you could have access links in your Google Doc. So if you were using a PDF that you created on Canva and you downloaded and uploaded that to your Google Drive, you could then have a document with the link to that PDF in that document and use that as your access for that product. Now, talking of freebies, you will find a link to a webinar below this video where I'm going to show you a way that you can make money almost without doing any work as a side hustle, and it absolutely works, and we've got a ton of testimonials from our students. So if that sounds of interest to you, then go ahead and check that out once you finish with this video. Now, what I always say in my videos is I would love you to say to me in the comments below, Trev, I'm going to give this a go, or any version of that suits you and your personality, because I want you to commit to me that you're actually going to try this. Just give it a go. All right, just do that little bit of research. Think about what your digital product could be about. Think about what kind of a funnel you could create. Use ChatGPT to help you brainstorm that. Start mapping that out. Maybe create a document on Google. Maybe go over to Canva and then start creating your nice looking pimped version of that. And then go to Warrior Plus or JVZoo, put your offer on there and get some traffic via your new YouTube channel. That's it in a nutshell. That is like the whole system that's going to enable you to start making money from digital products. Now, on the screen at the moment over here, you'll see another way that I think you can start making money as soon as this week. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead, watch that, and I'll see you on the next video. All the best.